Hi. So I want to talk about the casual divide and conquer, and specifically how people cannot agree to disagree, most of them. And this comes in many ways. I think it's a huge subject, and I just thought I'll talk a little bit about it. So I'm just barely scratching the surface, or I will. But there's so many topics right now in the world that divide people: religion, politics, science, health, to vaccinate or not to vaccinate. You take a vaccine, yay or no, and now people are going to look at you crazy one way or the other. And so, no matter what kind of decisions we make, no matter what we do, there's always someone who's going to be unhappy. And of course, you can't satisfy everyone. And you can't probably be friends with everyone because of all the differences we have. But lately, I've seen just more and more people who have a hard time accepting that someone else at the current time, with their current knowledge, will have a different point of view. And because of that, not only a person cannot accept, usually that an acceptance ends up with an attack. Where it is like verbal, like, they might insult you and call you something, or they will just think you're an idiot because you think one way or the other, or something else happens. And instead of trying to have a discussion or being like, oh, at this current time, with that current knowledge they have, a person thinks like that, let it be. Hopefully, if I give a certain material and they want to look into it, they will learn. Like, that would be perfect in best case scenario, but most of us don't want to go there. And of course, like, I'm not perfect, but I'm learning every day and I'm practicing that it's okay that people don't believe everything I'm saying. I'm like, hey, as the years go by and time goes by, I'm like, oh, I thought I knew it, but I don't. And I think I'm wrong, or what I said is like an old belief. I don't believe it anymore. Like, I know I'm changing. My perspective and understanding of reality is changing every day. And today I'm preaching one story, but tomorrow might be wrong. Tomorrow, like, whatever I said yesterday is different. So with this point of view, I'm trying to become more peaceful with others and not go too much into the arguing. Like, there are people who will not agree with everything I say, and I'm perfectly fine with that. And I would even want to go in a conversation and find out, what is it that you think that I don't understand, or maybe places where I am wrong, or places where our beliefs are different. And just go into that, just to get our perspective. Because in my current reality and in the things I'm doing, not every day will I get the material that will help me to open my eyes. Like, I'm busy with life, I'm busy with other things and the people I'm working with and all. So, like, the repetitive patterns and all lead me to believing and focusing on my current understanding. And that's what, like, I call my fundamentals. Like, let's say I talk about entities, getting out of the body, afterlife, soul contracts, and all this stuff. This is what I understand, and I work with stuff. I see myself getting better. I see others getting better. And I'm like, oh, well, this seems solid for now. But if I find a new thing and maybe it becomes like, oh, wow, like, this is the new thing that can help out people, like a parse party where you can talk to different aspects of yourself, to entities, to different aspects of people with your imagination, and like just having a whole concept, but it's like inner work, working through your beliefs, working through other things, whatever. So this little concept, like, maybe it's not going to be my new thing, maybe something else. And I get excited about it for a while and I see it working and I see it happening myself and others, and yay, until I find a new thing, maybe, until I realize, like, oh, it wasn't the best tool that I knew of. Like, everything I had before was pretty solid and good, but then I found something new. So, like, I allow myself to change and, see all these things. And I hope that in the upcoming days, I will keep on learning more, getting more information, materials, and getting better understanding of it all. Like, I don't know everything. Of course not. Like, I barely know anything. And I barely understand anything. Like that common saying, the more I know, the less I understand, if that's how it goes. So with all that, when I meet people who are different, I just try to let it be. I just try to Like, okay, you have your reality. If you want to discuss about it, I'll up for it, but try to have a discussion in a way where you don't have to guard yourself. You don't have to hold your ground. You don't have to go proving stuff. Of course, like, here's how I see reality. And here's some of the things that help me to have the fundamentals like it. For example, people look at Wes Penry and they hear and read stories about soul traps, about how a soul can split into billions of like little parts and just shatter. And now we fragment ourselves. And based on things we read that we don't have a full understanding of, that we have only a little bit perception of. Maybe someone shared their point of view of one possible reality or one experience, and all of a sudden we have a lot of people going into it, whether they have experienced it or not. It's a lot of point of views. But that's, let's say, that little thing holds, let's say, the soul trap and shattering of the soul and consciousness and all this stuff and fragmentation, and that's the little part. Other people, Robert Monroe, he got out of body and he talked about Luge and what happens after death and the afterlife and the belief system territories. And some people get out of body and experience something similar, not exactly what Robert Monroe talked about, but they have their own experiences and then they compare. And like, he said this, I experienced that, but in a way they're similar. Well, this is becoming my new part of reality and we put it here. This is our fundamentals. Some people, which is totally fine, are going completely with what they hear and learn on Earth with the mainstream media, with what's being pushed on them. What's the shape of the world? Is it flat or is it round? And we go nuts about the subject. Should you take the vaccine or not? And we go nuts about the subject because of how divided this thing is. And it's like upper class or lower class. All of a sudden, people start fighting over a thing that they can't really prove. And, like, hey, we need time. We need a lot of research. We need tons of other stuff. We need, like, let's say, funding to get our projects to get a perspective on this. But right now, it's like a bunch of stories, bunch of perspectives. And we're like, going against each other, ready to kill each other or fight or become angry and go out of our comfort zone. But is it really us? I think a lot of these things happening around us all the time and various topics in a way push us. And I believe there are groups, and of course some people don't like that I call the groups or people they. Who are they? I think for every one of us that they or what someone we want to point the finger at and maybe blame and say they are responsible for it, I think it really depends, and it's more like an individual thing. Some people will want to blame the governments, and others are going, okay, well, we'll get more specific. It's the Bilderbergs, or is the, like Rothschilds, or is the Khazarian mafia, or it's someone else. And that's one thing, but then we go beyond there. Some people will blame reptilians and the Greys and the Mantis and Galactic Federation of Light and keep on saying. But eventually it's they, the bad guys, what we currently see in our story of that we tell ourselves. Yet whatever that they is for you, and it's okay, what they're trying to do is divide and conquer, to throw in beliefs and situations in life that will have us have different opinions, different point of views. But I don't know how to go about it. I know the only thing I can do right now is just work on myself. I cannot change people. Maybe make some kind of influence. Maybe someone's gonna watch a video and think something and might have a different point of view, might have a thought, might take action, maybe not. But the only thing I can do is affect myself and share my point of view, which can be completely wrong because it's all subjective. It's my perception. One little look, not everything, one piece of the puzzle. Did I find the one? I don't know, but I'm sharing it. Hey, look what I found. Look what I believe in. Look what I think. That's one. You have billions of things to choose from, and all of it is true because everything you believe in will be true until you think and realize that, hey, I changed my mind. I changed my story. I found something else, some other truth or an argument or a fact that allowed me to change my fundamentals. And that's it. Your truth, your understanding of reality changes just like that because you found a new thing. And maybe that new thing is better. Maybe you're right. Maybe you're wrong. But it doesn't matter because right now in your current reality, whatever you believe in, you're right about it. And so from my point of view, like everyone's right, whatever they believe in. But we don't have to fight about it. And of course, like I think we're being pushed into it. It's just the way things work. Divide and conquer, the old technique. Just have people have different beliefs and maybe someone in those groups, as in people who believe that the earth is flat and people who believe that the earth is round. And it might be completely okay. Like, yeah, well, here's what I found and I'm going with it for a while, hopefully. But then there will be people inside the groups, various groups, where vaccinated or not vaccinated, where we're talking about spirituality or science, the afterlife or the soul traps or the other things. We cannot know everything, and we do not know that, and probably never will, or maybe, hopefully. But people, some of them, are like insiders. Infiltrate, hijack, and consolidate. That same old tactic that they use all the time, they being the bad guys, but at the same time, it's all individual on what you're targeting and what you believe is targeting you. So with all that, certain groups will try to affect us and our perception. And you know how we have the protests, we, like people, that are maybe trying to have a better life and maybe have some liberty and freedom and, you know, like, hey, they want to keep their guns. Great. You want to have more rights than a fetus, you know, that would be great. So other things like that, people are trying to have a protest, peaceful protest. Like, hey, we're just gonna be maybe shouting, but we're not gonna hit anything. We're not gonna throw anything. We're just gonna be collectively, you know, like maybe holding hands, maybe just gathering in one place, standing for our beliefs and then leaving. And then someone dresses up similar like you or to represent a specific group, but they act completely against what the group was about. And that sole thing ruins the whole image. It's like having a vegan, someone who's like, no meat, just start killing animals. Like, what the heck? You're completely ruining the thing. We're here to protect them. And all of a sudden, the whole different thing happened. Like people who are standing for the green earth and the alternative energy and other stuff, all of a sudden, you know, start burning, you know, like fuel and other things and just like, whoa, hold on with your CO2 emission and all this stuff. So a lot of those like infiltrate, hijack, consolidate, divide and conquer, ruin them, like ruin the image and divide the groups and make them argue between each other. And eventually, when it happens too much, we get caught up in it, too stressful, too hard to notice things, and we start reacting to it. And it's great if you can take a break. It's great if you can find someone who is able to control how they think and allow others to have their own beliefs, regardless whether they agree or not. And, you know, like, I don't know. I'm just sharing my own point of view. I'm rambling here. I'm probably not getting to the point, but the only thing right now is like, I see that a lot of people are divided. A lot of people will target each other, call each other names, and make like other people like less off. I think, like, you know, like just like, hey, you're a piece of whatever, blah, 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 because you believe in blah, blah, blah. You know, fill in the lines however you want. And it happens a lot with the spiritual community as well. Our beliefs, you know, pagetans, real or not. And soul traps, real or not, out of body, real or not, and then who says what, and then we're gonna point fingers and call each other names and tell each other to be something and blah, blah, blah. And this group is right and that group is wrong and boom, that's stable. Like, no, not necessarily. A lot of people will watch maybe a few minutes of a video and assume they know everything about the person or everything they have talked about for years and everything that they stand for, but it's just an assumption. We'll read the headlines, We look at the thumbnails, assuming we know it all, like what they're going to talk about, what's going to be written, but it's clickbait. It's catchy, and it's completely different topics sometimes. So I don't know. Where do you see yourself? Do you find yourself arguing or trying to stand for what you believe in, and maybe, getting in those debates that sometimes might come harsh? Or do you find people around you who can, share the point of view? And like, eventually, it's not even about them. It's about you. Them, like anyone around you, it's about you. How do you deal with those things? Are you okay with the whole thing, agree to disagree? Or do you want people to believe what you believe in and all? Like, for me, I don't know. I don't know anything. Like, I'm learning about stuff. I have a perception on it. I have a point of view. Is it the right one? I don't know. But I'm exploring until I find something that might change my reality. And then I'm going to be spinning a whole different story if that changes my beliefs. But, I can be wrong. And like, hey, we'll see. We'll see. Right now, I'm sharing what I assume is real and true to me. And that is the only thing. If that changes, I'll be saying a whole different story. And try not to judge or target or say anything to those that might have a different point of view. Because for them it's real, and maybe I'm wrong, or maybe I'm not. So we'll see. Anyway, again, just rambling. So yeah, I'll see you next time, and thanks for watching. Bye-bye.